Hello, and thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening right now. Ceasefire ultimatum, the UK's demands to Israel as it plans to recognize a Palestinian state.
End the appalling situation in Gaza.
Where Canada stands as the humanitarian crisis deepens.
It's humid out here.
It's really intense.
Weathering the scorching heat, how long it will last.
Yeah, I would ship that.
Plus, friendship or fireworks, the fan frenzy over a surprise sighting.
CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo.
Hello, I'm Marcia McMillan in today for Sandy. The United Kingdom announced its plan today to recognize a Palestinian state, pressing Israel to halt the war in Gaza. It follows a similar statement from France last week, adding to the roughly 140 countries that already recognize an independent Palestinian state. This comes as starvation mounts in the enclave and a grim new milestone in the number of Palestinians killed since the start of the war. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
In the face of suffering in Gaza, of images of starving babies, children too weak to stand, Britain said it had to act.
I can confirm the UK will recognise the State of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September, unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza.
The UK also repeated demands for Hamas to release all hostages and disarm. This as the UN said malnourishment is soaring, starvation knocking on every door in Gaza.
And a large proportion of a population of Gaza is starving. I don't know what you would call it other than mass starvation. And it's man-made.
And a new report raised the possibility the crisis could soon be officially classified as a famine. At a soup kitchen, this mother says she's dizzy from malnutrition, but keeps on searching for food to save her children. Look at her stomach, she says. There's no flesh, just bones from the lack of food. Gaza health authorities report an increasing number of people dying from hunger-related causes and say that 60,000 Palestinians have been killed in the air and ground assaults. Israel rejected allegations it was pursuing a policy of starvation, saying 5,000 aid trucks entered Gaza in the last 2 months. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the shift in the British government's position at this time, following the French move and internal political pressures, constitutes a reward for Hamas and harms efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza and a framework to release hostages. France announced it would recognize Palestinian statehood last week, angering Israel. But Britain also laying a pathway to do the same marks a new milestone. The move further isolates Israel on the world stage as calls for aid to flow freely escalate. Marcia.
Thanks, Geneviève. Donald Trump said that he and the British Prime Minister did not discuss the UK plans to recognize a Palestinian state and that doing so would only reward Hamas. The two met during the president's recent trip to Scotland. Before leaving for Washington, Trump launched his new golf course there. Trump wrapped up a 5-day European visit, teeing off at the new course near Aberdeen, Scotland. Speaking to the crowd, Trump said he'd play a quick round before heading back to Washington to, quote, put out fires all over the world. Meantime, Russia has reacted to Trump's revised deadline for progress towards peace with Ukraine.
About 10 or 12 days.
Yesterday, Trump revised his so-called deadline and threatened sanctions if no progress is made. The Kremlin responded, saying, "We have taken note of President Trump's statement. The special military operation continues." Back here now, 5 provinces and even a territory are dealing with heat warnings. In Toronto, more than half of this year's summer days have prompted heat advisories. CTV's John Venevali-Rao now on how Canadians are coping with the hot and humid weather. John.
Marcia, this latest heat warning is the 5th Toronto has been under this year, and that's already one more than Toronto saw all of last summer.
In Toronto, it was yet another sweltering day where temperatures felt like they were around 40.
It's insufferably warm. Is that the description you wanted?
Well, that kind of heat is welcomed by some. More are starting to say they've had enough of it.
It's kind of like walking into a bit of an oven.
By the end of this latest stretch of heat, Toronto will have had 23 days at 30 degrees or above so far this year. 9 days where the humidex was above 40.
It's been hot, humid. You kind of can't breathe when you step outside at certain points.
While temperatures on average in June and July have been about 2.5 degrees above normal.
And July's not finished yet. We still have to add a couple more days. It could be more than 2.5 degrees.
Temperatures also soared again in parts of the Maritimes, BC and the Northwest Territories, and south of the border.
Nathan Lucas leading it off again for the Blue Jays.
Where the Toronto Blue Jays were playing a doubleheader this afternoon in Baltimore, Maryland, where it was 37 Celsius without factoring in the humidity.
Whatever you got to do, don't worry about how it looks. Just try to cool off any way you can.
Overheated fans at times being misted down, trying to beat the heat. Heat that's been having an effect on health. Toronto has seen more than 50 heat-related ER visits so far this July, double that of last July and triple the year before. Though officials say it hasn't been catastrophic in terms of hospital admissions or deaths.
And while there is some relief in sight, the long-term modeling suggests in many regions the rest of the summer will continue to be warmer than normal. Marcia.
Thanks, John. A massive fire destroyed a century-old building in downtown Montreal early this morning. More than 150 firefighters rushed to the scene after 2 a.m. to this two-story building with retail space on the ground floor and apartments above. Flames raced through the structure and people were forced to flee the burning building. One person was pulled from a balcony. No injuries were reported. The fire department says it's too early to establish what caused the fire. A fast-moving wildfire burning near Lytton, BC, has prompted an evacuation alert for some residents. The fire visible from the Trans-Canada Highway has grown to 1.5 square kilometers since it was discovered yesterday. The growing threat comes 4 years since the community was nearly wiped out by devastating wildfires. We are now just days away from the August 1st deadline for a trade deal with the United States. Negotiations are down to the wire, and the roller coaster ride has certainly taken its toll. But the U.S. ambassador to Canada says he's hopeful a real deal is coming. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the tense wait and signs of what's to come. Abigail.
Marcia, the minister responsible for U.S. trade, heads back to Washington this week. Officials are being tight-lipped about the schedule and exactly who Dominic LeBlanc is meeting. A government source tells CTV News there's a good level of optimism about Minister Dominic LeBlanc's next D.C. trip, and discussions will still center on trying to get a deal before the Friday deadline.
I'm hopeful that a number of additional irritants, maybe on both sides, will be addressed.
While the American ambassador told a Winnipeg audience he's hopeful about a deal in the coming days, and Pete Hoekstra makes it sound easy.
We could hammer out a deal, and we would still have time to get coffee and a donut at Tim Hortons before lunch.
My life is full of questions.
Meanwhile, prices are going up from household product giant Procter & Gamble, expecting about $1 billion hit from Donald Trump's tariffs.
In the long term, this direction will weaken the free world more than it will help it, and it will, I think, ultimately weaken the United States as well. So I think it's unfortunate. But
Canada. What about Canada? I don't know what they're feeling now at this point.
In an interview, U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, LeBlanc's main point of contact, said the European Union's deal was all about protecting their auto, semiconductor, and pharmaceutical markets, warning
President Trump is going to come out in the next 2 weeks with his pharmaceutical policy, and it is going to be higher. Basically, if you are not building your plant in America where we pay for pharmaceuticals, you are going to pay a massive tariff.
With the Friday deadline looming, Canadian officials and the American ambassador are messaging optimism just days after President Trump said he hasn't had luck with Canada and there may not be a deal at all. Marcia?
Abigail, thanks. We're learning new details today about the mass shooting in New York, the deadliest in that city in 25 years. A lone gunman killed 4 people in a Manhattan building yesterday before killing himself. CTV's Joy Malbin is joining us now with the very latest. Joy, what do we know about a motive?
Marcia, New York police are trying to figure that out, why a gunman carrying an assault rifle walked into a downtown office building, shooting and killing 4 people last night before killing himself. Now, the mayor said the gunman, Shane Tamura, seemed to have a grudge against the NFL, and he left a very disturbing note saying he suffered CTE. That's a chronic brain injury associated with football and contact sports. In that note, he blamed the NFL and wants his brain studied. The gunman also had a documented history of mental health problems. Here's the New York mayor, Eric Adams.
The motive appeared to be connected to the shooter's belief that he was suffering from CTE and he was an ex-NFL player. Those items just don't pan out. He never played for the NFL. And so we're still unraveling this terrible shooting that took place in the city.
And Joy, what are we learning about the victims?
Marcia, flags in New York are at half-mast to honor the victims. New York police officer Didarul Islam was working off-duty as a security guard. He's being hailed as a hero and leaves behind a wife expecting their 3rd child. Also killed is a woman called Wesley LaPatner. She's a senior executive, a mom, described as a role model who was deeply respected by her colleagues. New York's governor is calling once again for a national assault weapons ban. Have a listen.
He had a concealed carry permit, which allowed him to have this weapon. Much looser laws in the state of Nevada than we have here. We fight really hard in the state of New York to make sure that we have the toughest gun laws in the nation.
New York police are sending 2 teams to Las Vegas, where the shooter lived and worked, to investigate more about his motive. Marcia?
Joy, thank you. Dozens of people have died in China after days of heavy rain and dangerous floods around the capital, Beijing. There have been at least 30 fatalities in China's capital, with another 8 confirmed in a nearby region. The rainstorm alert ended today, but more heavy rains are expected. Around 80,000 people in the region have been relocated. Chinese President Xi Jinping ordered an all-out search and rescue effort to find survivors. Coming up, debate night in Alberta.
Whole palette of positions that they have on issues.
All that's riding for the candidates, including Pierre Poilievre. Plus, when a pop star meets a former prime minister. 10 candidates running in the Alberta riding, where Pierre Poilievre hopes to win next month's by-election, are gearing up for a debate tonight. It's taking place in the riding's largest municipality of Camrose. Poilievre will be there. CTV's Kathy Lee is covering the story with more on preparations in place ahead of the debate.
Marcia, there are more than 200 confirmed candidates in the rural riding of Battle River Crowfoot, and logistically it just wasn't possible to accommodate a forum of that size. The Camrose and District Chamber of Commerce, who is hosting the debate tonight, opened up a registration process and capped it at 10. Only 7 candidates in this riding have political party affiliations, while the majority are listed as independents and affiliated with the advocacy group, the Longest Ballot Committee, whose main objective is to protest against the first-past-the-post system. The group also targeted Poilievre's former riding in April, which he lost. The chamber confirms none of the participants in the forum are with that group, but a big crowd is expected tonight.
We've definitely had to ramp up security a little bit. However, we more so had to manage how many seats were, because the venue is only so big.
The venue for the forum has the capacity to fit 580 people, and tickets are sold out. The public was able to submit questions ahead of time, which will only be asked by the moderator to manage the time. Still, experts say a debate with 10 candidates will be challenging.
It's going to be tricky for everybody to have an opportunity to provide that whole palette of positions that they have on issues that matter to the constituent members.
To streamline the process on by-election day, Elections Canada has created an adapted ballot where electors can write the name of the candidate they're voting for. As for the debate tonight, it kicks off at 7 p.m. local time and is expected to go for 2.5 hours. Marcia.
Kathy, thanks. It's no teenage dream. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was spotted dining with Katy Perry. According to TMZ, the pair had dinner in a quiet corner of a high-end restaurant in Montreal on Monday night. And tonight, well, the American pop star is performing in the nation's capital, and that's where we find CTV's Rachel Aiello. She's at the concert venue. Okay, Rachel, this one has tongues wagging. What can you tell us?
Hey, Marcia. Yeah, so as the pop singer sings herself, pictures of last night ended up online, showing former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau out for dinner with pop star Katy Perry. They were seated at a two-person table at one of Canada's best restaurants in Montreal. According to TMZ, there was security keeping a close eye as the pair of them shared the tasting menu, but skipped dessert. According to TMZ, the former Prime Minister, picked up the tab, and the chef that served them was saying that he was getting less so hot and cold vibes, could we say, Marcia, more like a friendly dinner. But that being said, after this photo emerged of them, two of them out for dinner, we did see additional photos of them out for a walk in Montreal before their meal. So certainly some quality time between the former Prime Minister and the big pop star.
So what's the reaction from her fans to this surprise sighting with the former PM?
Yeah, so she is in the middle of her Canadian leg of her The Lifetimes tour, and she's performing tonight, actually, in Ottawa. So we got here early, talked to some of her super fans, and they were saying, you know, it's a bit random, but they support her, whether this is a friendship or more. Take a listen.
I would ship that. I don't know, they're both like, I like Trudeau. But yeah, I think that'd be a power couple move.
That's very funny. So we're hoping to see him maybe today.
Yeah, it's quite shocking compared to, like, we've been talking about it all morning.
With her, like, you don't really know if it's gonna be like they're just friends or like they're actually dating. Like, we don't even know. But like, it's just so random.
So Katy Perry will be back in Montreal tomorrow, Marcia. We'll see if there's another meetup with Trudeau planned. I will also mention that we did reach out to the restaurant as well as reps for Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau for more details. So far, we haven't heard back. Marcia?
Rachel, we know you'll be on it. Thank you so much. Still ahead, a visionary mobile clinic. Meet the optometrist seeing eye to eye with patients on the road. A close call at a London, Ontario grocery store where a car smashed through the storefront, barely missing a customer. You can see a woman pushing a shopping cart before the car plows into the produce section, sending glass flying. This happened last Friday. No one was hurt. The video goes on to show a woman emerge from the car along with a small child. Getting access to proper eye care can be challenging for those living in long-term care homes. So one optometrist in Prince Edward Island decided to take her services on the road and set up a mobile eye care clinic. CTV's Maria Saru caught up with the doctor who's already met with dozens of patients. Maria.
Marcia, I'm in the chapel at Wedgwood Manor, a nursing home here in Summerside, PEI. Usually it's a place people come to pray, but today it's optometrist Jessica Wood's office.
I think the second.
77-year-old Blanche Westaway doesn't know when she last got her eyes checked.
You don't want to go blind. A lot of people are doing this.
You're a pro.
And they should be.
That's not so rare at this long-term care home, or others like it, says optometrist Jessica Wood.
I've heard 20 years. I've heard never. I have put lenses in front of patients' eyes and had them say, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could see this well.
That's why in April, Wood hit the road, taking her services straight to seniors, reaching them in rural communities. She says eye disease rates rise with age, but checkups become less likely.
We're gonna try both eyes open.
Even though timely care can keep their world in focus.
I think you can see that one, eh?
Wood got $37,500 from the provincial government's Health Innovation Fund, which covered the bulk of her costs. But she's invested $20,000 of her own money into this work.
It matters to me a lot. I know that the farther that you are from Summerside or Charlottetown, the harder it is to get services.
Mobility challenges make it difficult. The last time Robert Gamble took his mom to the eye doctor, he had to arrange an accessible taxi both ways.
Whole production took maybe about 3 hours, and this was maybe 30 minutes, so it was quick and easy.
98-year-old Olga Gamble has cataracts, so now they're considering surgery.
Still do all my puzzles and things like that, crossword puzzles and number puzzles.
Wood says she's set her sights on the rest of Western PEI's care homes, determined to get patients the help they need. Marcia.
Maria, thank you. After the break, a sheepish island getaway, how this flock is staying safe in a predator-free paradise. A flock of lucky sheep in Newfoundland is living its best life this summer, marooned on a small island, free to graze in the open air, and they have their farmers to thank for this soft landing, who are eager to keep them at a distance from any would-be predators. CTV's Garrett Berry now with more on this idyllic and ingenious arrangement.
A house call like no other, as his father and grandfather did before Keith Morey boards this boat to care for his flock on Ship Island. Here, the sheep roam free from predators and free to graze on salty, windswept grass that Morey believes improves the animal's flavor when the lambs get to the plate.
Coyotes are so numerous now, and they're getting bolder all the time. They're out in the middle of the day. It's just, this for us, this is a godsend, having this safe haven.
It's a cooperative of sorts. A handful of farmers share this island near Torscove in Newfoundland and share the labor of upkeep. It takes all of them, and more besides, to herd the animals, to check them for worms and other illnesses. This tradition has changed a lot. Lambs used to be caught one by one, brought down to the boat by rope. Now, the biggest challenge is getting enough people to herd.
The sheep that come here year after year, and some are leaders, and they know the routine. Sometimes you come out, as soon as they see us coming up over the bank, they say, especially in the fall of the year, they almost come running to the chute because they know it's time to go home.
There was even a surprise today, what the farmers called bonus lambs, 2 newborns, maybe just a week old, first spotted today.
It's pretty cool to see that, that sheep had a set of twin lambs, healthy twin lambs out here, less than a week ago with no human intervention at all.
Keith's nephew, Matt, and his son, Liam, are part of the next generation.
It was just the way of life, so me committed to taking this over, it's always been, it's in my blood,
They say they're bucking the trend. They will keep this farming alive, even if fewer and fewer of their peers are interested. Garrett Berry, CTV News, in Ship Island, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Looks so peaceful. Thanks, Garrett, for that. And thanks for joining us this Tuesday. Be sure to join us for the CTV National News later tonight. And for ongoing coverage of Canada's top stories, tune in to CTV News Channel. I'm Marcia McMillan. See you tomorrow. Your local CTV News starts right now.